Hi there, and welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, Rosa Coelho, health coach, trainer, and teacher. I'm also founder of the Simply Strong programs and community. Here, we cut through the noise to simplify health, personal growth, and lifestyle, helping you to thrive with ease, confidence, and vitality. Listen in because you never know when you may hear something.
I hope you're having a fabulous day. Okay, today I want to talk about a couple things. I am going to be talking about my birthday. Now, it's not about my birthday and how amazing my birthdays are. In fact, I want to talk about how my birthdays have always been, from a very young age, actually a painful time for me, despite people that have been to my gatherings. And I know, I'm able to always disassociate, be grateful for the present moment and enjoy the good things, but there's always been a deep sadness behind that. And I'm going to talk about that because I've processed it, especially this year. I just feel like I'm coming to a new light, and it's just been a year of a lot of growth. Maybe it's something to do with turning 50 last year and really evaluating where I want to be and how I want to feel and all the things. And, I'll always come and share with you if I feel like it's something that could help you too. So that's what most of the podcast is going to be about. The one thing I want to talk about, though, before that is that the Simply Strong app is coming in September. Oh my gosh, I don't know. I just had this epiphany this summer about this app. And I was like, why am I not opening this up to more women? So here's the thing. Coaching with me one-to-one is expensive. It's not for everyone, but from the beginning of time, from when I became a trainer 20 years ago, if you've been listening to my podcast long enough, you know that my passion comes from this idea of the prevention of disease and helping people, but women in particular, be their healthiest, strongest selves. And in a way, it comes from a selfish place in that I want my family and my friends around for as long as possible. And I want them to be as healthy as possible so they can enjoy this life fully. And of course, I want that for myself too. But I've always been very aware that not everyone can afford one-to-one coaching. And so over the years, I've tried different things like putting out 6-week programs at lower cost so that in group settings so that women could learn that way. And those have worked. They've worked really well. But I'm always like, yes, but long term, I know that for someone to change, it takes more than a 6-week program. It takes longer. Just habits are really they're a process. You build, it's about layering. We don't get things perfect right away, and we know perfection doesn't exist, but it's about layering these habits, and over time it works. I mean, I have one client who she's been with me for over 2 years. It took her probably almost 2 years to lose 20 pounds, but I'm like, wow, 20 pounds in middle age over 2 years. Can you imagine the shift that is on your body? It's just, you're lighter, you feel, and she's gained strength, but it took her a year just to finally get it with the protein and be able to hit those protein goals and make that connection between the protein and the hunger and the protein and the need to build the muscle and all the things. And if I had just put her on a 6-week program and left her, she never would have gotten there. And so I get that part of it. So how can I do this in a way that's going to be a win for me? Because look, at the end of the day, I have to earn enough financially in order to do that. That's just how the world works. But how can I do this in a way that it is also accessible for women and works for them? And so it's the app. So the app is basically, this is what it's going to look like. The app is something I have already used for more than a year with my one-to-one clients. It is brilliant. You track your habits, you track your weight on it so that you can see the trends. It will give you a graph. You track your workouts in there that I have set. There is a community page on it, just like being on social media, but it's all in this one app. I would say the only caveat is that there is a second app that you need, and it is free, where you track your nutrition. But what I love is that app syncs to this one. So you can review it in this app. You can see like where you are for the day and the foods that you've eaten and all the things. The difference is you have to enter the food in the other app, but that's such a minor thing. And, there is no perfect app. Like there just isn't. I've looked and looked and looked. And this one is just so darn close to perfect. Like I just absolutely love it. As the coach, I set the habits that I want and the numbers that I want on there for you. And I just, it just is the best thing. Like I have bought so many programs from other trainers because I'm always curious, like what are they doing? What apps are they using? Like how, and something's always missing. Like there's this one trainer that I just purchased her 6-week plan. Actually, it was a 30-day plan. And I mean, she's in phenomenal shape. And I looked at the plan and I was like, this just isn't, it's just not adequate. And then on top of it, I had to buy a meal plan once I was in there, which I did not buy because it was meal plans set on various calories. And I was like, this is just, it's just not the best. But yet people still get results. So I'm not here to put down other trainers. Look, after 20 years of experience, I'm just crazy confident with what I offer. And I've seen the results in my clients over and over and over and over. And in fact, this morning, I got an amazing message from a client that's 62 telling me like how this program completely changed her life and she's had the best summer and she hasn't even been tracking in the summer and she's put on 0 weight and she's just like so thrilled. And yeah, so anyway, the app will be released in September. And this is how it's going to work. Go to roccofit.com. That's my website, ROCOFIT.com. It'll be in the show notes. If you scroll to the bottom, there's a ton of Q&As. If you have further questions, message them to me. You can email me at info@roccofit, or the best thing is really go on to Instagram. I'm a little bit quicker on that than email, but either one, I will get there. And that's just if there's a question there that you're like, I'm not sure what you mean by that, or I have another question. But what it's going to be is it's going to be 6-week programs linked together for a full year. I am contemplating the first week is like a week of just getting to know the app. So you don't go right into it, but you'll start to play around with it. And then you go into these 6-week blocks. Now, when I said the app is not perfect, this is how it isn't perfect, is that there is no way for you to pause the 6 weeks if you're going to go on a vacation or you're going to have something in between there. So here's what I say, let go of perfection. Just let go of it. If you go on a 1-week or a 2-week holiday, you keep tracking the habits that you're doing. You're going to keep doing the walking likely and the water and doing your best to hit the protein and all the things. Like maybe you're not doing the strength workouts, but I will put a PDF in there of body weight workouts so that you can follow that. It's just you won't be able to track it on the app. You can't add in your own workouts. But that's okay. Once the next 6-week block comes, you just hop back onto that one and go for it. Or you finish that one and you make that a 3-week block or a 4-week block of what you just do the best you can. But that's the best way I can do it without it being a ton of admin for me, because the cost it's just going to be, it's very reasonable. But my when it comes to like that personalized stuff, it's still going to be with my one-to-one clients. But I'm telling you, there's going to be a community. I'm going to be in there answering questions. I'm going to be making sure that you're getting results. And the best part is you're going to notice that through the weeks, I am going to be coaching you to coach yourself. You will weekly review your information so that you can reflect and be like, okay, this is what I'm doing next week. This is where I'm focusing. This is where I'm developing. It's always just about getting a little bit better. And I'm going to coach you to do that because I don't want you to need me forever. I want this to be true lifestyle for you so that at the end of the year, you're like, oh my gosh, like, you're just a different person. You're just empowered. And here's the best part. I believe this is how I'm going to do it. So if I change my mind, don't hold me to it. But so far, this is the most clarity I've got around this, is that there will be a monthly cost. Of course, everything is in US dollars. Look, I'm done with Canadian dollars. There's no one out there works in Canadian dollars. And so it's time for me to move forward with that. And the majority of people that follow me are in the States. And it's just the currency that we work with globally. So anyway, I digress. There will be a monthly cost. You can cancel that at any time. So there is no 1-year commitment. You can cancel when you want. You will need to commit to the first 2 months because it's 6-week program. So if you're going to start with 1 month, you've got to pay for the next to get the full 6 weeks. And there will be a bonus for people who are like, you know what? Nope, I am all in. I am all in. I'm paying for the full year. In that case, I'm going to give like a 2-month gift. So you'll technically pay for 10 months. There is no refund in either situation. There's no refund if you start for 1 month, and there's no refund if you decide to commit to the year. Because one, I'm not doing admin, and two, look, there's nothing like that's just not accountability. If we could just do things like that so easily and get refunds for everything. So there is no refund. If you're unsure about the year, do the monthly plan. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. Okay, so that's all I'm going to talk about the app, but oh my gosh, it's going to be so brilliant. I cannot wait to start that community with all of you. The nice thing is there's a way for me to still have my one-to-one clients on there separate to the community of clients that are going to be doing this monthly app. Okay, so let's talk about birthdays. So from the beginning of time, from a young child, I have had a lot of pain around birthdays, and the pain has been around having people that really are the people that you would think are the ones that I care about me the most in this life. And they're the ones that have not been able to celebrate my birthdays, have gone even if like either not acknowledging my birthday, or the acknowledgement has been very weak. Like just like maybe like someone that an acquaintance would say happy birthday. And that always left me with so much pain. And I don't want to name who it is, but I will say to you, and whether this is a coincidence, because this might be different for you if you've experienced this too, but in my situation, it's always been men. And if I say it's literally from childhood, you can guess what one of them has been, but it's been the men that really I expected to be the most committed to me, and they just never could. And for so long, it was just such a deep source of pain. And I believe in it's affected me a lot in my life to the point where it really made me question my self-worth. It made me feel like love was something I had to earn. And I guess it made me chase a little bit too, I would say, and made me feel like a victim and very sorry for myself. And, looking back now, I am so grateful. And it's hard to I never thought I'd be on this side of it where I'm grateful for those people and those lessons, because it has made me, it's shattered me to my knees. It really has. That's how deep the pain has been for me. And it has, like I said, made me question myself and my self-worth, and if I was worthy of love. And now that I'm on the other side of it, like I said, I am grateful for these lessons. And this is what I have learned. And I can say this, I can only talk about this now because I do feel like I'm completely and utterly on the other side of it. And even if I will have moments of weakness, because I think like anything, even self-growth is about reps, just like the strength training is about reps. There are days where maybe I won't get that workout in, or maybe I won't feel super positive about health things and what I'm doing, but those are just moments now. They're not the bigger picture. And so it's the same thing like this, that even though I feel really strong in this now, I know I may have moments of weakness, but they'll never be like that again, because I just know who I am so much better. So here are 5 things that I really learned from that journey, and that journey for over 50 years really, is that it really has never been about me. I made it about me, that's for sure, because that's how we feel when we're in so much pain. But it really has been about the capacity of those people and the pain that they have had in their own lives, and their inability to be able to express love. And it doesn't mean that they don't have it. It doesn't mean that they don't want to, but it's also not about me fixing that in them. But I have come to accept that it's not about myself and it is about their capacity. And so that's number one. Number two, I learned is that despite that, like in my heart, I have this thing where I'll feel sorry for the people that are causing me such great pain, but that cannot come at my expense. And I've learned that I cannot change anyone. It's not on us to help people to see. It is not on us to help people to change. Now, I believe people can change. Like when they make the decision for themselves, people can change. And that change in these situations comes in the ability to have accountability and to acknowledge that their lack of capacity has caused so much pain, and they might never get there, and we have to be okay with that. I do believe, and this comes from a conversation with someone in my family who's gone through similar things, and she's just such a strong person, and I always value her experience and the things that she shares, is that if we are given enough time, that we can influence people to change. But again, that influence, that cannot come at the cost of you and your self-worth. It doesn't mean staying in situations that just are not shifting and that there is no hope in, and holding on to hope and hoping that someone will change. We can't want that. But change is possible. And I do believe, again, think of health. Like there's, in you becoming healthier and living your life just with these great healthy habits, people around you will be influenced and you will see them shifting. But we don't get to choose who is shifting. And so all we can do is live our lives in the best way that we desire. And if people shift and they're influenced, that's beautiful, but that can't be the reason for us wanting to do that. So number two was you cannot change anyone. And that's sad. I so wish that we could, because we always want the people around us to change for the best, including ourselves. Number three is it taught me boundaries. My goodness. So in one of those situations, that person is no longer in my life. In another situation, they will be in my life forever because they've been there since childbirth and I want them to be there. But I have had to learn boundaries that keep me safe. And that does not mean becoming avoidant or becoming angry or stern or any of those things. It has just meant that I am careful with how much I share of myself, because that really is for my inner circle and the people that protect my heart and I know are there for me during times of need. But I am an oversharer, and I realized that oversharing is not good. That oversharing comes in me often chasing love, and that's not healthy either. And I have to recognize when I'm oversharing and what the intention behind that is. And is it coming from a place of chasing, or is it coming from a place of also self-abandoning and all the things? So yeah, I've learned boundaries, and you know what? My gosh, they feel good. Like when I hold a boundary, it makes me feel like I'm giving myself self-love. And I love that. And the boundary doesn't come at hurting anyone else, and it doesn't come at teaching anyone a lesson whatsoever, because sometimes we think that that's what a boundary is, and it is not. In fact, I'm going to have someone on the podcast coming up talking about boundaries and what they truly are and what they truly look like. The boundaries are never about hurting someone else. So yeah, I mean, I'm continuing to learn them in different areas of my life, but my goodness, it does feel good. Number 4, so number 3 was that I learned boundaries. Number 4 is that we are 100% responsible for our own happiness. What I realized is that, I started to really reflect on the amount of deep, beautiful, incredible relationships that I have in my life. People that make me feel, when I'm with them, they make me feel safe. They make me feel loved. They make me feel cared for. And this is girlfriends. This is family. This is like different types of relationships. And I started to really listen to my body and how it feels around different people. And so what I do is I spend way more time in places that make me feel happy and content and good. And when my nervous system is off and I'm spending time in circles that I might be smiling and I might look like I'm having a good time, but my body is not feeling good, I am listening to that. And I am telling you, the word no is becoming so much more clear and so much easier when I just don't want to be there. When I know I'm saying yes to something, but I'm going to be in a scenario where it's not good for me. And I can't always explain why, if no one's treating me badly, everyone is being kind, everyone is being good, but there is an undertone, and it is like my nervous system is off. And I'm like, this is not my place. And I'm listening to that, and yeah, just not spending time there. And I am telling you, I have been so much happier. And when I am in these situations with people who just make me feel good, and no one can make you feel good. I do feel good in those situations. Like I am truly 100% myself and I am accepted and I'm spending more time there. And the amount of gratitude, I'm just recognizing it so much more clearly and I'm able to be in the moment so much more. And I'm grateful for that. So again, we are responsible for our happiness, putting ourselves in situations where we feel good. And happiness does not mean being in situations where people don't make you grow, where they don't call you out. I want people to question me, to call me out, to make me grow as the person. That is, being in situations where we always feel good and not questioned. That is not where happiness comes from. Happiness comes from people being able to help us to grow and to call us out and to have really difficult situations and to be able to, but they're safe. You may be having a discussion that is difficult and challenging, but at all times you feel respected, you feel safe, and you feel cared for, even though it's hard in that moment. So that happiness does not always mean feeling like that happiness. We still have to go through it. And I am grateful for those situations too. But we know the difference. We know the difference when we can be challenged, but still seen and still safe. So it doesn't mean just being with people that always make you agree with everything you say. So I want to be really clear with that. That's not what happiness, at least for me, means. And number 5 is that none of this has to harden you. I feel like they always say if you're attracting people, and I don't mean just romantic partners, I mean friendships and all sorts that are avoidant, and that you also are. And I know for a long time I was that. I did not want to ask hard questions. I did not want to have hard conversations. I didn't want to know the answers. I swear that's probably why I got married the first time around. I will never speak badly about my ex-husband. He had so many beautiful qualities and we were wonderful friends. But should we have gotten married? No, because if I had been brave enough to ask hard questions, I would have known that our values were in so many areas not aligned and that it wouldn't have worked. But I did not want, I hadn't done the work. I didn't want to ask the questions because, oh gosh, did I know the answers, right? And it didn't make him a bad person at all. We were just not aligned in certain things and things that were a big deal. And we use this word aligned a lot, but here's the thing. We weren't willing to have hard conversations at the beginning to know that maybe we're not aligned on something, but that that would still be okay because we were always going to be able to have conversation around it and make it work. But we weren't willing to have conversations. We were both avoid until one day we were just couldn't avoid any longer. And so it's interesting that I think we're living in a time where people are so quick to call other people avoidant, but without looking at themselves. And this was me too, but I know I was 100% avoidant. And maybe I still have those tendencies because, again, it's about the reps. We don't heal in one moment. It's repetition. First of all, it's acknowledging, then it's the practice of it. It's a lot of self-reflection. It's a lot of acknowledging when we kind of take one step back before we take 2 steps forward. And yes, if we see something in someone else, we also have to question if we have it in ourselves. So it is such a process. And I'm going to be sharing a lot more in upcoming podcasts in terms of boundaries, self-worth, relationship, all the things, because I don't want my podcast just to be about what we eat and and what we eat and exercise and all the things, because health is so much more. And I'll tell you, I had a lot of digestive issues towards the end of my marriage. And yes, 100%, most of it and a lot of it was down to the mold toxicity that I was suffering from. However, if you're living in a situation where you are not, like, where your nervous system is like a wrecking ball, that will affect it too. Because once I moved back home, my digestion was just turned so good so fast. And so if we're like always in a feeling tension, that's going to impact our digestion and just overall well-being. So that's why I think that these topics are super important. Okay, my friends. So I'll repeat those 5 really quickly. Number 1, it's not about you, it's about their capacity, and maybe your own capacity, that's for sure. But when in these situations where, like, you know, on my birthday, I was abandoned by these people, and you also have to call a spade a spade. So that is what it is. Number 2, you cannot change anyone. You could possibly influence the people around you 100%, but you don't get to choose who is influenced by you. It's not the person that you want to influence. So you have to let that go. Number 3 is learn boundaries, and boundaries are never about hurting someone else or avoiding. They're about giving to yourself and not self-abandoning. Number 4 is that we are 100% responsible for our own happiness. And number 5 is that none of these situations have to harden you. You can heal and still be, just still be yourself. Okay, my friend, I gotta go. I gotta go meet a friend for coffee, my favorite thing. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. And if this episode has spoken to you, please share it on social medias, share it on Instagram, especially on Facebook. Leave a comment. I haven't had a review a long time on this podcast episode. So if you can leave a review, I know it takes a moment. I know it's not always easy, but please, if it's spoken to you and it has helped you, you have no idea that when you comment on the podcast or even when you comment on my social media, that it actually helps me to grow. So if you are a friend, I am actually, asking, please do that. If anything I've ever said has helped you, please comment, like, and share. The likes help, but the commenting and the sharing is really what helps to get the message out. Okay, have a beautiful one. Thank you so much for listening in today. I know time is precious, and I'm grateful you shared yours with me. It would mean the world to me if you felt an impact, a moment of inspiration, or learned something new. If you would share it with those you care about and leave me a review on iTunes. I'd love to know what spoke to you or what you'd like to hear more of. Your sharing and leaving a review would help so much on this journey to making an impact on as many people as possible. It's worth it. I know from experience, there are moments when something we hear has the possibility of changing everything.